Hi friends, it's Mrs. Schreiber again, and we're going to continue our lessons in fiction today, and we're going to talk about figurative language. So be thinking about what figurative language means. Before we get started, we're going to do a go noodle so we can get calm, alert, and ready to learn.
This exercise will teach you how to gain control of your stressful energy when it gets too high to handle. Close your eyes, listen, and follow along. Or keep your eyes open and follow along that way. It's up to you. Sit tall. You can be on the ground with your legs crossed, or in your chair with your feet flat on the floor. Now imagine that you can look up and see the sky. And up in the sky, way up in the sky, is a balloon. If you'd like, you can choose a color for your balloon. Keep the picture of the balloon in your mind. The balloon's string reaches all the way down to your hands. Hold on to the string. Imagine that you can feel the pull of that big balloon. Imagine that the wind pushes it from side to side. Or imagine that the wind actually tries to pull the balloon higher into the sky. Maybe you can feel the gentle tugging of the string in your hands. Now try to bring your balloon down. Be careful to go slowly. You don't want the fragile string to break from pulling too hard or too quickly. Take your time. Imagine that you can gently pull the string, hand over hand. The string collects in a pile at your feet. Hand over hand, pull after gentle pull. The balloon appears to come closer. It might even become easier to bring it down in your mind as it gets closer to you. Keep bringing it down, closer and closer. Some other strings might be longer or shorter than yours, and that's okay. Just bring it down at your speed. Focus on your balloon. Keep bringing it down. Your colorful balloon may now be within your reach. Pretend that you do not need to use the string anymore. You can actually hold the balloon between your hands. Notice if you can feel the balloon in your hands. Be gentle. Imagine that with your next out-breath, you can open your hands and release your balloon. Let it go. Notice in your mind where it goes. It could be different for everyone. Just remain still for a few more moments and watch your balloon drift away.
All right, so now that we're calm, alert, and ready to learn, let's get started. Remember, if you're feeling frustrated in any of the lessons, or if you're feeling frustrated when you're at home, remember you can take any deep breaths just to get yourself back to calm. So the last time we met, we worked with words and we were working on antonyms. Remember, antonyms are opposites. And today we're going to focus on synonyms. That means words that are the same. They either have the same meaning or almost the same meaning. So I think of synonyms as same and antonyms as opposites. So let's practice. Synonyms are words that have the same meaning. Mad, angry. So if you're mad, you could also say that you are angry at someone. We have our scary mad face. Synonyms seat and chair. Think about it. If your teacher says to take a seat or sit in your chair, you know that you need to go and sit down in your chair. Here's two more. Many. So think about it for a second. If you have many pieces of candy, what else could you say instead of many? If you said lots, you are correct. Lots of candy or many pieces of candy. It's the same thing. They are synonyms. Let's try some more. Smile. So if you said she has a nice smile, you could also say she has a nice grin. And isn't that cute? Nice big grin or smile. So synonyms have the same meaning. Let's try two more. Gift. So I brought a gift to the birthday party. Or I brought a present to the birthday party. So again, gift and present have the same meaning. So they are synonyms. These words have almost the same meaning. Sleep. And what about nap? So I might be going to sleep, but it could also be a nap if it's in the middle of the day. Or you might be taking a nap at night. Who knows? How about warm? What's a synonym for the word warm? Warm. How about hot? So if I have a hot cup of cocoa or a warm cup of cocoa, I know that it's not cold. So they are the same, synonyms. And the last two, shop. I want to go to the shop. Or what's another word that means about the same thing as shop? If you said store, you would be correct. I'm going to the store or I'm going to the shop. Those two words mean about the same and they're called synonyms. So let's practice. Remember the other day I gave you 3 antonyms and you had to pick out the 2 antonyms. So today I'm going to give you 3 words again and you're going to pick out the 2 words that are the synonyms. So that means the words that have about the same meaning or almost the same meaning. Road, bike, bicycle. Which 2 words out of these are the synonyms or the same? Ready to shout them out? Bike and bicycle. That is correct. So bike and bicycle have about the same meaning. When I say I'm going to go ride my bike, I can also say I'm going to go ride my bicycle, and then everybody knows what I'm saying. They have the same meaning. They're synonyms. How about fast, slow, and quick? Remember, we're looking for the 2 words that are synonyms or the same meaning. Ready to shout them out? Fast and quick. That is correct. Now you probably saw the word slow in there. I was trying to trick you because we talked about antonyms, and antonyms, remember, are opposites, and the opposite of fast is slow. But today we're looking at synonyms, so words that mean about the same. And fast and quick mean the same. So they are synonyms. Let's look at 3 more words. Good, great, bad. Which 2 words are the synonyms that mean the same? Are you ready to shout them out? Good and great. Nice job, guys. You're doing a great job with synonyms. Remember, we're looking for those 2 words that are meaning the same. Synonyms, same. I put another antonym up here for the word good, which is bad. So the antonym for good is bad, the opposite. But remember, we are looking for the synonyms today. Let's try 3 more. Tug, push, and pull. which two words mean the same, or they're the synonyms? You think you know? Let's shout them out. Tug and pull. So if I tug something, it means about the same thing as if I pull something. Remember, we're looking for the two words that mean about the same or have the same meaning. Those are our synonyms. Tug and pull are synonyms. Push is an antonym, the opposite for pull, but we are looking for the synonyms. Let's try another one. Beautiful, pretty, and ugly. So which two words are the synonyms or about the same or have the same meaning? Do you think you know? Shout it out. Beautiful and pretty. So those two words have the same meaning. Something is beautiful, something is pretty. Ugly and pretty are antonyms, which means the opposites. So the synonyms, we have fix, broken, and repair. This is our last one, so make it a good one. Which two words are synonyms, which mean the same? Do you know yet? Shout it out. Fix and repair. So fix and repair are synonyms of each other. They have the same meaning. Broken could be an antonym, but we weren't talking about antonyms today. So I put those antonyms in there just to make sure you were thinking and you were with me. All right, we're going to practice some fluency now. And again, we need to remember those rules of fluency. Remember, we want to read smoothly, we want to read with expression, we want to read with meaning, and we want to read at just the right speed. Not too fast and not too slow. We're going to read these three excerpts. I'm going to read them out loud, and at home, you can follow along with me and read as well. And then whenever we're done, I want you to either practice this passage to yourself and read it to a family member, or find another excerpt or story or passage you can read and practice it yourself with using our rules of fluency, and then go read it to a family member. Okay, let's get started. Excerpt number 1. Sam was eager to get home after school today. It was Friday, which meant Sam and Dad would make dinner together tonight. He hoped they could make some fudge for after dinner too. Excerpt number 2. Sam turned the corner of the hallway and found a very large package resting against the ledge of the front door of his apartment. I wonder why we received such a huge package, Sam thought to himself. Excerpt number 3. Sam unlocked the door. The package was too large to pick up, so he tried to nudge it into the apartment. It was so big, it barely budged. He put all his weight into it finally and pushed it through their front door. So thinking about my rules of fluency, did I read smoothly? Yes. Did I read with expression? Yes. You heard my voice change when I read with a question or when I read with an exclamation. Did I read with meaning? Yes. And did I read at just the right speed? Yes. So I did all 4 of the rules of fluency. Keep practicing reading with fluency and using those 4 rules. All right, so let's get started with our reading for today, our reading standard that we're going to dive into. And it's RL 2.3. And it states to recognize that authors use words and phrases, for example, regular beats, alliteration, rhymes, and repeated lines, to provide rhythm and meaning in a story, poem, or song. So we're going to focus, and our I can statement is that I can recognize words and phrases that provide meaning to a story, poem, or song. We're really going to focus on the story today. And we're going to look at figurative language. So before we read our story, I want you to be thinking as we're reading, we're going to review some figurative language first. So thinking about figurative language, we've got literal and non-literal. Literal means that it's exactly what the text says. So for example, the mouse stirred the potatoes in hot water. So literally, the mouse has a big pan of hot water and is stirring the potatoes in the hot water. That is exactly what is happening. Non-literal means that something is different than what is being said. So an example is, when my sister found out I wore her new sweater, I knew I was in hot water. Well, she's not really standing in a big pan of hot water. That wouldn't make sense. What she's really trying to say is she knows she's going to be in big trouble because she wore her sister's new sweater. So some examples of that non-literal language that we would hear in stories. Simile. A simile is a comparison of two things using the words like or as. So for example, we have as sweet as pie. So she is as sweet as pie. And you could say her dress was colorful like crayons. Again, we're comparing pie to how sweet the girl is, and crayons as colorful like the girl's dress. How about metaphors? It's a comparison, again, of which one thing is said to be another. So an example is, she is a walking dictionary. Well, the girl isn't really walking around having a dictionary on her as her body. That's not really what she's saying. What she's saying is that girl is very smart and she knows as much as a dictionary and she's walking around. Alliteration. It's the use of the same beginning consonant sound in a line or verse. So an example, and it's kind of like they're tongue twisters. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So the P in this sentence is the use of alliteration. Onomatopoeia. This is one of my favorite words. It just sounds funny. So say it with me. Onomatopoeia. It's a word that imitates a sound that it represents. So for example, you've got splash, pop, bang, plink, whoosh, hiss, ding, crunch, boom. Those are all some examples of onomatopoeia. So when you see those in a story, which I'm sure you've probably seen them in movies or even on TV shows, these words you hear or see, it makes you think of that sound. Hyperbole. It's an exaggerated statement. So for example, my backpack weighs a ton. Your backpack can't weigh a ton. Nobody could carry that. But your backpack weighs a lot. And when you tell me that your backpack weighs a ton, I know it must be really heavy. All right, now that we have kind of gone over and reviewed some of our figurative language that we would see in stories, songs, or poems, I'm going to read a story called Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This is a story, it's a folk tale, and it's been passed down from generation to generation. And so my aunt used to say this to me all the time. We would always act it out and have fun when I was younger. And so I thought this was a great story. While I'm reading it, I want you to be looking for all the figurative language that you might see or hear. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Goldilocks. She went for a walk in the wild forest. Pretty soon, she came upon a house. She knocked, and when no one answered, she walked on in. At the table in the kitchen, there were 3 bowls of porridge. Goldilocks was so hungry she could eat a horse. She tasted the porridge from the first bowl. "This porridge is too hot," she exclaimed. So she tasted the porridge from the second bowl. "This porridge is too cold," she said. So she tasted the last bowl of porridge. "Ah, this porridge is just right," she said happily, and she ate it all up. After she'd eaten the 3 bears' porridge, she decided she was feeling a little tired. So she walked into the living room where she saw 3 chairs. Goldilocks sat in the first chair to rest her feet. "This chair's too hard," she exclaimed. So she sat in the second chair. "This chair's too soft," she whined. So she tried the last chair. "Ah, this chair is just right," she sighed. She settled down into the chair to rest, and then bam! It broke into pieces. Goldilocks was very tired by this time, so she went upstairs to the bedroom. She lay down in the first bed. "This bed is too hard," she exclaimed. Then she lay in the second bed. "This bed is too soft," she whined. Then she lay down in the third bed and fell asleep. As she was sleeping, the three bears came home from their walk. "Someone's been eating my porridge," growled Papa Bear. "Someone's been eating my porridge," said Mama Bear. "Someone's been eating my porridge and it's all gone," cried Baby Bear. And then they went into the living room. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," growled Papa Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," said Mama Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair and they've broken it all to pieces," cried Baby Bear. They decided to look around some more, and when they got upstairs to the bedroom, Papa growled, "Someone's been sleeping in my bed." "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," said Mama Bear. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed and she's still there," exclaimed Baby Bear. Just then, Goldilocks woke up and saw the three bears. She screamed and hurried out of the room. Goldilocks ran as fast as a fox out the door and all the way home, and she never returned to the home of the three bears again. So where do you see alliteration in this paragraph from Goldilocks and the Three Bears? Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Goldilocks. She went for a walk in the wild forest. Pretty soon, she came upon a house. She knocked, and when no one answered, she walked right in. So let me think. Alliteration is when we have the same consonant sound that repeats. So we're looking for words in a row that have the same consonant sound. Do you see it? She went for a walk in the wild forest. So went for a walk in the wild forest. You have the W sound. So there's your alliteration. Which of the following is an example of hyperbole in Goldilocks and the Three Bears? A, someone's been eating my porridge. B, Goldilocks was so hungry she could eat a horse. C, just then Goldilocks woke up and saw the three bears. Remember, hyperbole is when you have said something that's an exaggeration. So it's not true. If you said B, Goldilocks was so hungry she could eat a horse, you are correct. She's not really going to eat a horse, but she's really hungry, and I know that. Which of the following is an example of a simile in Goldilocks and the Three Bears? A, then she lay down in the third bed and fell asleep. B, she never returned to the home of the three bears again. Or C, Goldilocks ran as fast as a fox out the door and all the way home. Remember, a simile is comparing two things using like and as. Did you figure it out? If you said C, you are correct. Goldilocks ran as fast as a fox. That's our simile. She didn't run as fast as a fox. She's not a fox. But she ran as fast as she could out. And I know that she is running really, really fast because she wants to get away from those bears. Which of the following is not an example of onomatopoeia? A, pow. B, bam. C, yes. Or D, hiss. If you said yes, you are correct. Pow, bam, and hiss are all sounds that I hear whenever I hear those words. I can imagine what that sounds like. But if somebody says yes, I don't really know what that sounds like other than somebody cheering. So let's think for just a minute here. When does the author repeat words and phrases? So I'm remembering about like how many things that were repeated in that story over and over again. Some examples of the repetition that I heard in this story were 3 of everything. There were 3 bears, 3 bowls of porridge, 3 chairs, and 3 beds that she could sleep in. So there were 3 of everything. There was also the reaction to the porridge bowls. The 3 bears all reacted the same way. They all said, "Someone's been eating my porridge." And again, with the reaction to the chairs and to the beds, they all did the same thing. All 3 of them said the same words. So this gives me a little bit of an insight about the 3 bears. And by using the repetition, the author is showing us that the bears have some character traits. 1, they're organized because their whole house had 3 of everything and it was all together. I also noticed that they were calm. I don't know about you, but if I had somebody in my house that came in and I knew that they were there, I wouldn't be very calm, but they sure were calm. And they were also patient because they waited for each one of them to investigate their things. So we're going to practice. I have a figurative language worksheet for you in your packet, and there are the examples of figurative language and their definitions are at the top. And then I have some questions about it, and maybe you can even determine what they mean. So our secret word today is onomatopoeia's word, pow. So P-O-W, that's our secret word for the day. Thanks so much for joining me and have a great afternoon.